That's us. Okay, so we kind of stopped around the diastasis stage last time. Diastasis, if you can see the wee picture in the corner of the screen up here, it's basically a non-resolution of the widening of the connective tissue between the two muscle bellies either side of the tummy. So these kind of 8-pack, we think it's a 6-pack, but it's actually an 8-pack, are called our rectus abdominis muscles. And pre-pregnancy, normally we would have a space of up to 1 centimetre, roughly, in most people. Everybody has a widening of this space down the middle by 35 weeks pregnant, and that's completely normal. That connective tissue has to widen and stretch to allow baby to grow. So we sometimes hear the conversation that it's a tummy split, but it's not a tummy split, it's a connective tissue widening. So nothing splits or separates or gets torn or anything like that. It's literally a widening of connective tissue. If you can imagine an elastic band getting stretched and widened. And most women have a spontaneous recovery in the first 8 weeks. So after 8 weeks, that's normally healed fully just through rest and then gradual functional normal movement that you would do anyway, and you're not really having to consciously think about it. But some ladies, it persists. And after this, we need specific individualized treatment, really. What you might notice if you have a diastasis, because sometimes you can have this for, again, decades after you've had children, and it's just never been picked up. But you might notice that your tummy domes in or sinks in, sinks in when you do a sit-up, or it domes out, so it's kind of tense down the center. And that's just a sign that the pressure in your tummy, your body isn't managing the pressure in the inside the abdomen, and so it just comes out through this separation or this widening at the front. You might also notice that you bloat very easily, or that your tummy really protrudes when you're in standing, despite the rest of your body feeling much more toned and lean. Often people say, I've done loads of training, I've done all the rehab, I can squat whatever 60 kg, but my tummy still looks huge. And often you'll find they have a diastasis and maybe a combination of altered pressure mechanics in their tummy. So you can self-assess. If you want to have a wee look on my Instagram page, healthconnects_physio, I've got a wee diastasis highlight, and you can check how to self-assess. We're always looking at self-assessing and lying down, but actually it's much more functional to assess in standing. We used to be focusing on the width of the separation, but now we know it's much more important to look at how deep the tissue sinks in rather than the gap. So you can have a 3 centimetre gap between these muscle bellies, but you cannot have a diastasis functionally. So you can't actually sink your fingers in deeply. The muscle and the tension in the tissue is right up to the top, if that makes sense. So non-resolution of this can have implications for the strength of your tummy and also the function of your pelvic floor and the risk of low back pain. So everything's linked to everything. And traditional exercises, like for example, sit-ups, are not helpful. They can be later on, of course. It's a really functional movement, but initially it's a much more gentle based approach. So essentially diastasis is a delay or a plateau in connective tissue remodeling. And it can take up to 2 years for the connective tissue to fully regain its pre-pregnancy tensile strength. So 2 years is actually normal. So all this bounce back and being back in your genes after 6 or 8 weeks or after having a baby is a complete myth. And this is in the animal kingdom too. They appear to be on the 2-year line as well. So we're very similar there. So the approach should be person-centered. There's no two people who have a diastasis exact same as each other. It must be person-centered. We'll all have our own patterns of movement and pressure management strategies. Common strategy is to brace the top of the abdomen, so right up at the rib cage. And I often see diastasis associated with people who are hypermobile or have a condition called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is genetic. There's also a combination of postural issues. Breathing mechanics is really important, and it can be associated with a defect such as a hernia in the tummy wall. So the key thing to resolve a diastasis, we used to wrap cotton wool around people with diastasis and say, well, don't do this and do this and don't do this and just be careful if you're doing that. But once again, science has proven that no, there is no limits. You load up the tissue within what they're able to do, not creating any coning or doming. And then you build up as the person strengthens. So the fence analogy is that you go to the limit that you can without having any doming or coning in the center or any pressure, like that doming of the tissue. And once you're able to manage in that zone, like with whatever level of exercise you're doing, once that starts to get easier, then you push to the next level, push to the next level, push to the next level. So it's definitely a one-to-one person-centered approach. Globally, you obviously want to optimize your health through nutrition, sleep. And I personally find, or think there might be a wee missing link with the whole diastasis chat in that, you know, why do some people get it and some people don't? And I don't know, I think there might be a wee bit of an emotional link with it where we disconnect from our core. And there could be 100 reasons why that might happen, but I don't know. I've just seen a common link clinically. And hopefully somebody will do research on that someday, but I feel it's a slight disconnection from the core or your center. If you want to read up any more about diastasis, absolute.physio on Instagram is brilliant. She's the diastasis queen. So I'm going to have a wee chat now about the mind-body link. I'm keeping an eye on the time. I don't want to do what happened last week, or sorry, a few weeks ago. So the mind-body connection then is basically what I feel is a missing link in all these physical manifestations of illness or disease. And it's not really the missing link. It's been proven in science for a long, long time that we are not just robots or tick boxing and all the rest. We're human beings with complex emotions and perceptions and histories and stories. And it's very clear that physical issues can manifest as a mental issue, and a mental issue can manifest as a physical. So everything is connected to everything. And our current culture is really fast-paced, and disconnection can lead us to becoming disembodied, which is really important, I find. This might sound a wee bit random, but clinically when I see people, I find a lot of people are not in their bodies. And you probably won't, I come from a medical background, so that if I said that when I was working the Royal, I know everybody would be like, okay, Brenda, what are you talking about? But I see where people become disconnected from their bodies because we're running on autopilot for so much of the day that we're running on programs that are already in our brain. So we're not actually present and seeing things for as they are in the moment. So that being in that state for a long time, being on autopilot and rushing around and doing and never just being, leads to disconnection from our physical body. And the signs of this are feeling constantly stressed, overwhelmed, feeling isolated from others, and having this lack of meaning or purpose. And a big thing is feeling stuck, like I'm just stuck. I know something wants to change, something needs to change, but I just can't seem to move forwards. So a big thing I've noticed is that we cannot strengthen a body we cannot connect to. So if we're not inside our body and present throughout our days, if we're running on pre-programmed information, autopilot, we can't work on healing a body that we can't connect to, and we certainly can't heal a body that we don't know and love. And we can only do this through our senses, through our felt sense. For example, if you were going to try and calm a child down, I would have used to say, I calm down, just calm down, calm down. That makes absolutely no sense to a child, and it makes no sense to an adult either. If you can imagine whenever you felt in a frenzy or, you know, something was really, it doesn't work. So the only way we can create calmness and come into our bodies is through calmness and very subtle messages through our felt sense. And the felt sense can be self-talk, like, it's okay, I don't need to rush, I've done my best today. It can be through smell, grounding ourselves into the present moment through smell, like, okay, I can just smell that nice cut grass. It can be touch, you know, just touching your body, giving yourself a hug, rubbing your own arms to come back into your body. It can be through taste, just noticing, is there anything I taste in my mouth right now? Can I see, what can I see in my vision right now? So again, this is proven in science as well. So to come into your body and come into the present moment and stop running on programs and autopilot, it can only be done through the senses and through embodiment, getting into our bodies. And I'll talk a wee bit more about that in a minute, but a key thing is getting to know your body. So finding out about your anatomy, how the female body works. If you're still having periods, it's tuning into your cycle. And I'm going to go through a wee bit now to show you about this. So if anybody wants to switch on their camera, because if you want to, because I find it really odd, because when I'm doing the presentation, I can only see black boxes because I can only see 4 names and I can't see anybody, and it's really hard to present when you can't see anybody. But I don't know if anybody's ever done that. But if you feel the urge, please turn off your camera if you'd like to. So we're going to go in now to how to reconnect through our breath. So as you can see in the wee pictures, everything's connected to everything. So we can look at our larynx in the top left of the screen, and you see how similar it looks to our uterus. So the uterus is at the top, here's our womb, and the vaginal canal that we talked about being the hallway last time. Look up here, so this is our vocal cords and our throat, the larynx. And can you see how these two places actually mirror each other? So the vagina is the way into the body from the bottom up, and the mouth's the way into the body from the top down. So these are pretty much like 2 valves. And if these valves aren't regulating pressure and talking to each other and communicating, then things will go off. And you can see in the right-hand picture how similar our vocal cords in our throat look to our vulva. So they literally mirror each other. So I'm going to show you how this happens, how this jaw and pelvic floor or throat are connected. So I'm going to get you just now to sit in your chair and pop your feet nice and flat on the floor, and we're going to lengthen up through our backs, roll the shoulders back. So come into a nice tall seated position. And I'm going to first of all get you to mouth breathe. So we're going to close our eyes. And I want you just to breathe in and out through a relaxed jaw. So your mouth's going to be halfway open. So keeping the mouth halfway open. Open up the lips, so let them drop apart. And I want you to notice what happens in the pelvic floor. So ideally what you should be feeling is that the pelvic floor opens, or the vulva blossoms and opens. Because in this position, your vocal cords are open to breathe, and the vulva should mirror that. So the tissues in the pelvis should open as well and feel lovely and relaxed as you breathe in and out through a nice open, relaxed jaw. So your mouth's open. Now breathe in for 4 and make a breathe in for 4. Breathe out for 4. Now I want you to try and clench your jaw and tell me if you notice anything in the pelvic floor. So clench, let go. So clench your teeth together and let go. You'll feel your tummy muscles tighten. Clench and let go. Did anybody notice that when you clench your jaw, the pelvic floor muscles tighten? Yeah. And when you open your jaw and relax, they release and open up. And they've done studies looking at women watching scary movies, which I hate. And literally by the end of the scary movie, they did put electrodes on women's pelvic floor muscles, and the muscles were literally so tight. Women hold tension in their throat and shoulders and their pelvic floor muscles. That was the places where all the tension was held. So those 2 places are completely linked. So if you hold tension in your shoulders and your throat, you're most likely to have tension in your pelvic floor muscles. And about 75% of women are overactive in their pelvic floor muscles because we're busy, we're rushing, we're stressed, we're normally primary caregivers, often running on autopilot, do. And the body just follows suit. If there's tension in your shoulders and you're busy, then the pelvic floor muscles are going to become overactive as well. And that's the most common thing I would see as well. So a wee cue would be, oh God, I'm really busy, I'm stressed. What can I do right now? Literally just open your mouth about halfway, relax the jaw and breathe in and out through a nice open mouth. Literally 20 seconds can help to reset your whole system. So other ways we can reconnect and come back into our body is touch. So your hands are the most amazing things that you can use to come back into your body. Self-massage is a huge one that I teach, and that can be all around the pelvis. I'll show you that at the end, but it can be after an episiotomy scar, C-section, any abdominal surgery. Even without scar tissue, it's a lovely way to relax your body. Observation, so looking at the pelvic floor area, using a wee handheld mirror, note what's normal for you. This is really important for knowing what our bodies look like in terms of diagnosing any conditions or new skin conditions or any abnormal growths or anything at all. So it's really important to know what your normal is. Observing what happens when you cough, bear down, squeeze the pelvic floor, notice does anything bulge down and out of the vagina, or literally just what is your normal. I think it's lovely to do this at least once a month, along with breast massage, checking for anything new. So instead of making it a wee bit fear-based, where you're looking and thinking, oh, I don't want to see anything, or you're doing a breast check and you're like, oh God, and you're feeling for anything new, I would completely turn that around and treat it more like a self-care opportunity, where you have a nice look at the vulvar tissue every month, along with like maybe a breast massage and then a bath. So flipping it from a fear-based narrative into like a self-care narrative, which you would much more be likely to do, I think. A huge one to reconnect into your body is listening to the inner voice that you hear chatter, and that wee voice is sometimes silent. All the answers that we need to most things are normally within us. It's just kind of thrashing it out and having a chat with yourself like you would with a friend. And the science is completely backing this up too. If that wee voice at the minute is a wee bit quiet and you're not sure what it's saying, and you're not sure, you've lost a wee bit of faith or confidence in yourself, follow the science until that intuition grows. So we know exercise is fantastic, eating good food, all those things. And as you do that, you'll start to feel better and better and better, and you'll start to build trust back into your body. And when that voice talks to you, you will listen. Other ways to come back into your body and embody yourself really are feel into your body. So breath-led movements like Pilates and yoga, things that have a breath focus, are definitely a great place to start. So I'm going to talk a wee bit about breathing now. I keep checking the time. I'm so paranoid about going over, but we didn't start till 10 past, so I'm only 20 minutes in. So predominantly when we are in a state of rest and digest, which is the parasympathetic nervous system, we are nose breathing. So we're literally breathing in through our nose, out through our nose. Mouth breathing is actually not common. The only time the science says we should ideally be mouth breathing is giving birth or having an orgasm. Apart from that, mouth breathing is not optimal, and we should predominantly 95% of the time be nose breathing. New science is saying that snoring is completely abnormal. So although it's very common, it's not normal. And it's essentially choking in your sleep, which I find fascinating. From a whole multitude of things that have come together, like in the past 100 years, our jaws have got narrower because we're eating softer diets. Our teeth are coming in. We're not getting wisdom teeth. We've got fillings now. We're getting lots of teeth extraction. We're losing the muscle tone in our necks and the front of our and back of our necks because we're eating such soft diets compared to our ancestors. And all this is leading to our airways getting smaller. That combined with lots of mouth breathing as well. And I'm going to talk about how we combat that later on. So coming back to the fact that we should predominantly be nose breathing, what normally happens is when we inhale, the diaphragm, which is at the base of our lungs, lowers with the pelvic floor. So as we inhale, both those structures move down and the tummy expands and the pelvic floor muscles soften. And as we breathe out, the diaphragm and the pelvic floor lifts up. And that lovely rhythmical up and down movement of the diaphragm and the pelvic floor muscles naturally kind of exercises the pelvic floor and keeps it lovely and mobile. But what you can see is if you've transitioned into mostly mouth breathing, if we're running really fast pace, poor sleep, and mostly in fight or flight, then we tend to be breathing more shallow breath in the upper chest, more rapid. And then this means we're losing this really natural, effective, built-in system that serves us so well. And that is that when we breathe in through the nose, pelvic floor relaxes. As we breathe out through the nose, it lifts up. And that naturally mobilizes it and keeps it strong. So your breath alone is nourishing your entire body. So you can see how everything is connected to everything. The breath is internally massaging the organs, exercising the pelvic floor. And when we slow down and live a more intentional life, this will happen naturally. We don't have to think about it. So I wanted to put this into action and see if you can check in with this. So we're going to close our eyes again. And we're going to gently breathe in through the nose for 1, 2, 3, 4. And exhale through the mouth for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll do that once more. In through the nose for 4. Out through the mouth for 8. In through the nose for 4. And out through the mouth for 8. Keep going with that breathing pattern as I speak, just for the next 20 seconds. So I want you to notice what happens in your body when you transition into this lovely state. And I want you to keep the out breath now through the nose. That was just a wee warm up. So in through the nose, out through the nose for 4, in, 8, out. So keep going with that. And you should start to notice that your body starts to come down and come into a much more relaxed state. As you inhale, the pelvic floor muscles relax. And at the end of your exhale, you can feel them just gently lift up. So if you want to go away, keep going with the breathing. If you want to take something away from this, it might be just in through the nose, out through the nose, 4 in, 8 out for 10 minutes a day. That's going to do all this work for you. It's going to bring you into a nice relaxed state. It's going to mobilize the pelvic floor muscles. It's going to help strengthen them. And it also has profound benefits for our brain, for the frontal lobe of our brain. So it reduces the risk of developing dementia. It enhances your immune system. There's so many benefits. The effect of just simple breathing alone is absolutely unbelievable. So you can start with 10 minutes a day. The most benefit comes from doing this 20 minutes a day, twice, so morning and night. And this helps you to come back into the nose breathing. There are people who use mouth tape. There's a thing you can buy online. It's called Isofix. And you literally pop a wee bit of tape over your mouth for nighttime. And it has a huge effect on how we breathe at night. So you literally can't breathe through your mouth. You're breathing through your nose. And you're nourishing your body really so well overnight. And you're exercising and maintaining a really beautiful state of balance as you sleep. So if you were to breathe through the nose for 6 weeks, you would have a huge transformation in your entire health. And I'm going to get you to open your eyes now. So just give me a wee thumbs up if you felt the pelvic floor relaxing as you inhale and you felt some sort of lift on the exhale. And did you feel your body just become more and more relaxed as you just simply were breathing? So it's really easy. That's how the simpler something is, the more impact it has. And that's just something that you can do. And it makes a huge benefit to everything, your pelvic health and your entire health. So I'm going to move on. So we have vast emotional intelligence. And there used to be a wee saying like years ago when I was at school, and it said, Sticks and stones will break my bones, but words can never hurt me. And of course, now we know that's completely wrong. And how we speak to ourselves has a huge impact on our health. We can literally give ourselves, transform our own health with how we speak to ourselves and our thoughts and that wee mind, that wee voice that chats away to you all day. So we have vast emotional intelligence way beyond the comprehension of the cognitive part of our brain. So that part that you talk to and go, oh, this is too big, is that too big, that doesn't fit, oh, I'm going to have to get this. That chatter in your brain, that's a very, very new part of our brain. It's only kind of developed in the past few hundred years. We have much more vast intelligence way beyond our comprehension. So we can grow and birth babies. We can birth babies while we're in a coma. So women in comas are able to birth babies. They're not even conscious. We can heal wounds. So I burnt my chin. It's still not perfect, but I didn't have to think about how this healed. I burnt my thumb in the oven all the other day. It's almost, you don't have to think about how to heal a burn. You don't have to think, oh, my liver needs to detox. I need to bring this to the lungs. This has to go to the heart. I have to take nourishment to here. Every single cell in our body is completely working for us every second of the day. And every cell in our body is actually completely regenerated every 72 hours. So our bodies truly are a masterpiece. And when we create a healing environment, amazing things can happen. The more we can quiet that part of the brain that never stops talking, the more harmonious and balanced and healthy we can be. The body always holds the truth about what's going on in our lives. And the first step to coming deeper into this is self-awareness. So tuning into your body through active relaxation. Start to notice that self-talk. So look at this apple. This, no joke, this is scientific. We spoke meanly to this apple on the left for a week, but we spoke positively to the apple on the right. And if that can happen to an apple, which doesn't have a heartbeat, what happens in a human? So when we quieten down the chatter, we can actually just recognize our emotions, not get attached to them and just let them pass. And that should last for about 90 seconds. So not becoming the emotion is huge. So self-love, which is the whole theme of this talk, is really about how we address our body parts. It really, really matters. And I think because we were brought up possibly not knowing parts of our body, not knowing how it works, then they're alien to us and we are disconnected from it. So a nice place to start is, as I said, just looking at your body, touching your body. Start to address yourself with tenderness and love, and know that a symptom is a sign that just something needs your attention. And instead of grinding against our body, we can ask, what do you need? So the journey back to your body and into yourself is via self-awareness and self-love. And it really is a layered thing. Once you peel back one layer, something else will crop up, something else. And it's a journey that never ends. So self-talk matters. And this is the rice and apples analogy, which I think is fascinating. So the rice, this guy put cooked white rice into jars and labeled them love, nothing, hate. And that's how he basically spoke to them over the course of a week. So he said to the first jar, oh, you're the most beautiful rice I've ever seen. I love you so much. You are gorgeous. Oh, you're so kind. All these kind of things. The nothing rice he just completely ignored. And the hate rice, he spoke to it with absolute hatred. I hate you. You mean nothing to me. And it looks here like the hate rice has come off worse. But actually, once they took the nothing rice apart, after a week of being spoken to and ignored, the nothing rice was the most decayed, because they analysed that at least the hate rice was getting some attention. Being spoken to cruelly was at least attention in itself. Being completely ignored was even worse. And that makes me think of our bodies. If we ignore a symptom, like, what does that tell our bodies? It just may tell in our bodies they don't mean anything. They don't mean anything to us. So how we speak to ourselves and how we perceive our life matters. The book A Return to Love by Marianne Williamson said, thoughts are like data programmed into a computer, registered on the screen of your life. And if you don't like what you see, there's no point going up to try and turn the screen off and erase it. Instead, it's changing the nature of your thinking, how we talk to ourselves. So I often see clinically that the nervous system is linked to the pelvic floor. So often if women are in fight and flight and they're rushing and they're doing all the time and they're very, very busy, there's tension in the muscles and there's tension in the pelvic floor muscles. Being mobilized for action all the time and in this state uses up a lot of energy, and that leads to exhaustion and fatigue. So shallow breathing, fast breathing, and the truth is we are spending a lot of our lives now in this state. Another nervous system type that we can fall into is dissociation or shutdown. And instead of the muscles being tight in the pelvic floor, what I often see is that ladies have no sensation in the pelvic floor. So they don't feel pain, they don't feel anything, they've shut down. And that can often be after a shock or a trauma. And the third, which I don't see that often, because if you're in this state, you don't normally come to see somebody about your pelvic health. The nervous system's beautifully regulated, mostly nose breathing, not stressed, in a state of harmony, rest and digest, good conservation of energy, not exhausted. And this is always going to be reflected in the body, which is nice and relaxed and contracts when we need it. That's the goal. That's where we want to be. So how do you do this? We learn regulation of our nervous system from our primary caregiver, and this actually begins in the womb and continues for up to 7 years old. So I've looked a lot into this because I've found parenting the hardest thing I have ever done, multiplied by 1,000,000. And that's actually more than my daughter being sick. I found it that difficult. So our children were everything back to us, and it literally is like shows up where you need to work on. Personally, for me anyway, it's where I know something isn't right. I have to change. I don't want this reflected back to me. So we learn our self-regulation from our primary caregiver. Children are not able to self-regulate from the ages of 0 to 7. They can't. So when we say calm down, stop that, don't do that, why are you so cross, don't be cross, that's physically and mentally, that's impossible. So they can only regulate through co-regulation. So that's a caregiver hugging them. It's okay, you're safe now, I'm here, I can hear you, I can see you, I love you. That's basically it. That's how they learn to self-regulate, is through co-regulating with a primary caregiver who is able to regulate themselves. And I must admit that when I started having my children, I was absolutely not able to regulate myself, and it's been a massive learning curve, which I am definitely still on. So we can relearn this. We can relearn this, absolutely. There's no end. You can always relearn how to self-regulate. And from that, that is what I find, that is what health comes from, self-regulation of the nervous system. Once you get that right, everything else takes care of itself. And I think that's a missing link in our whole environment of our everything, our medical system, everything. Once someone learns to regulate themselves, everything else comes naturally. The pillars of health then obviously is obviously focusing on sleep and your diet. We know the pelvic health, or the pelvic floor muscles, are made up of connective tissue and smooth muscle, and they absolutely respond to what we're putting into our bodies. Taking in adequate fluids, looking after our bladder and bowel. You can track your habits through a diary, and it's in a wee app called the Squeezy app, which is an NHS app, and it's $2.99 to download. That's a lovely place to start. And basically you would track how often you go to the toilet, how much volume for voids, or if it's a bowel motion, is it hard, difficult to pass, were you straining? That's a really nice place to start to get to learn about your own body. And also on that Squeezy app, you can do your pelvic floor muscle exercises. It will prompt you up to 3 times a day, or as many you want, but 3 times a day is optimal to do your pelvic floor squeezes that we practiced on the first chat. Regulating our nervous system, which is basically what stress management is through active relaxation. So where you lose yourself, it might be a bath, it might be a book, wherever you lose track of time and feel joyful after, you can do more and more and more and more of that. That's how you regulate your nervous system. So it can be self-massage, music, meditation, breath work, yoga. Chanting's a huge one. We self-regulate through sound, singing, clapping our bodies while we dance, cold water therapy, getting into the sea, mindfulness, being creative, walking barefoot, affirmations, journaling, being in nature, spending time with animals. basically factoring in as much of what brings you joy throughout your day. And I read up a lot on it. I know the work of a doctor called Gabor Mate, and I totally agree with him in that this stress, which is not just a female problem or a parental problem, it's a global issue. And my own family tell me, "Oh, Brenda, you look too much into things. You know, sure, we're all right. You've turned out okay." But the truth is, we are the most depressed, loneliest, addicted, and obese society in the history of humanity. So we're not. That's actually false. We're not okay. And that's backed up by science, and everything must change. So that Dr. Gabor Mate says everything has to change. And the truth is, we need to be the change, and it starts with filling up your own cup first. So I often find as females and parents, we want to fix everybody else, fill up their cup. What do you need? What do you need? What do you need? Once everybody else is okay, I'll do something for myself for a few minutes. But that is not backed up by science, and although it will go against lots of our we'll have a deep pull not to do this, but you must fill up your own cup first. When the primary caregiver's cup is full, the most important person in the family, and it's normally the mother, it's not the children, and this is proven in science, if your cup is full, every single person in your family and your extended family's health improves if the primary caregiver, normally the mother, maximizes her health. So that is the evidence, and that's the truth. So that's, autoimmune disease is 3 times more common in females, and it's purely because of the stress of caregiving. And this is what needs to happen. Fill up your own cup first, and you will notice everybody else starts to transform, and they become more resilient and healthy because they will mirror what you're doing. And then carrying that into adulthood, they'll have seen that you were investing in your own health, and they will mirror that, and they will copy those patterns. So what now? Become aware of our symptoms, listen to our body, listen to that voice, build trust with yourself. Notice how you talk to yourself, that language. Check in and say, actually, no, is that true? I can be kinder to myself. Educate your body on how it works. Look up, read more. Tracking your diet or your bladder and bile, which I've just talked about. Eliminating constipation. If we can get we can optimally want to go for a bowel motion twice a day. That's what we really, really want. Enhance your environment, your global health. So sleep, diet, exercise, active relaxation, breath work. So I should have said for the active relaxation, externally, we've got amazing holistic treatments as well. Like I've mentioned massage, reflexology, Indian head massage. There's lots and lots of ways to do that too. Breath work. You can start with pelvic floor muscle training through the Squeezy app. But if you are having any symptoms, a good place to start is obviously seeing your GP, discussing what's going on, and ruling out any other causes. So this is not medical advice. This is all just generic. And definitely do seek a referral to pelvic health. We have lots in our toolbox. So that's us at the end. We've about 20 minutes 25 minutes left, I'd say. So this is all about self-love, and the theme really is turning your wounds into wisdom. The longest study probably ever done was by Harvard in the 90s, and this study was over 90 years, and they proved that all humans need for a happy life is connection and love, and that it all begins with the self. So self-love is the highest form of love. And the degree to which we are connected to ourselves and demonstrate unconditional love to ourselves is a level of love which we can extend and receive from others. So once you come back to yourself and learn to love yourself, that will again be mirrored in your relationships. So thank you so much. I know a lot of you will be in relationship with males or have friends who are male or child, whatever else. So I don't treat males with pelvic health issues, but there is a guy on social media. His name's Bill Taylor. So if anybody wants his information, I can give you that. The other wee thing I want to add was, if you're happy enough to send in any feedback, and I would love positive and negative, because we want to learn from how this has went. I know the sound was bad last week, obviously, but apart from that, if you've had any positive or negative feedback that you're happy for us to share anonymously, we would love for you to send it in. For those sending in the feedback, we're going to run a little competition. So I'm going to post you out. I'll just pick randomly. I'll use a wee app or something to calculate somebody to pick out, but we'll send you out a belt, a wee eye mask for relaxation, and a wee Pucka Love tea bags. Going forward, so we're available for any talks if you would like. So a lovely places in the workplace or any local groups. But what I would love you to mostly do is to work on loving yourself and spread the word about wellness. So I'm going to stop sharing the screen now, and I'm going to show you the wee physio toolbox. So when you come to physio, we use lots of different modalities. The best things are our hands, but there's lots of other things that we have to help you. This is the lubricant I talked about. So for any sort of vaginal dryness, we have the Silk one, it's SYLK. Or there's another one called Yes, YES. So vaginal dryness is really common if ladies are perimenopausal or, sorry, I'm just going to pin my video. Perimenopausal or postmenopausal, or obviously after surgery for removal of ovaries, and breastfeeding as well. So that's the Silk one. I always recommend that ladies moisturize vulva, like we moisturize the skin in our face. We can moisturize our vulvar tissues. This one's called Olive and Bee, but it is quite expensive. You can make your own. So I have a wee highlight on my Instagram page under organics. This is literally olive oil and beeswax, and this is £20 for this wee tube, and you could make that for £2. So that's why it's really good. You can just make your own, and the wee recipe's on there if you want to have a wee look. I just use this in shower in the morning, and then literally put on a pea size, and then just literally go from back passage to like up vulva up towards the pubic bone. So it keeps the tissues lovely and moisturized, and helps to keep all that lovely bacteria that we have in our vaginal tissues there. And that bacteria is essential to prevent things like UTIs. So we've been led to believe that we should wash away and use feminine products here, but the truth is that we only should be washing with water without any soap at all, and moisturizing with lovely natural products. This is the one I made myself. So you can just make it yourself and put it in your own wee squeezy tube. This is the scar tissue for C-section scars. So it's called Mepiform. So if anybody has thickened C-section scar, and often mums will say, oh, I've got a pouch, I've got this overhang, as well as doing massage and exercise and diet, we can also massage this. Basically, this, I'll open it up actually. You get this from your GP, it's called Mepiform. Oh. You basically peel it back and then layer onto the C-section scar. So say the scar here, it stays here, it's waterproof, and it stays on for about a week, and it basically massages your scar, and you don't have to do anything. So if you want a wee head start and you're not ready to do scar massage, you know, ladies can use this for up to 6 months, and it makes a huge difference to scar tissue. So it's a brilliant thing to start. What else we got? Got a wee stim machine. So sometimes if ladies are in a wee bit of shutdown, they're not feeling the pelvic floor tissues, the sensation's reduced, we can literally use a wee probe. So you can insert the probe vaginally or rectally. So this is a wee rectal probe, and it comes into here. And we literally increase this wee, pop the arrow up, and literally it's just giving me a wee zzz. It's kind of like a TENS machine. So it gives a wee light pulse. And honestly, women don't have to use this for long. Once that wee buzz, you get that wee flicker, that's all you need. So normally I'll use this once or twice with ladies. And once they've got that wee wakening up, it's literally like wakening up the tissues in the pelvis and pelvic floor. they can wean off it straight away once they have that sensation back. There's lots in here. We can release our pelvic floor muscles with a wee spiky ball. We can sit on it and we can just do our breathing. So I have it here in between my vagina and the sitting bones. It's in here, and that's lovely. I can just feel the muscles in my pelvic floor just relaxing down onto this wee spiky ball. So I'm literally sitting on it on a hard surface. Keep checking the time. Right. Last couple things. This is estriol. So this is if ladies need a wee bit of estrogen in the vaginal tissues to help bulk them up. So in perimenopause, after removal of ovaries, postmenopausal, breastfeeding, any of them where there's vaginal dryness. This is a vaginal weight. So this goes inside the vagina. So it's weight training for the vagina. Once it's inside, once you squeeze, this wee thing comes up. So that's how you know you're doing it right. So this is inside the vagina, in here, right inside. And once you do a pelvic floor contraction, this lifts up. So it lets you know that you're doing it right, first of all, because the wee stick lifts up. And then you're also lifting your tissues inside the vagina against weight. So it's strength training, really, internally. Right, last thing, and this is even half of it. I just had to narrow it down. So this is a wee pessary. This is a cube pessary. This will go into the vagina for like a prolapse. This is just one type. There's many, many types. And you basically would insert it nice and gently inside. Once it goes inside, the walls flick open, and this supports all the walls of the vagina and holds up any prolapse tissue, anything that's descending into the vaginal canal. I sometimes give this to women postnatally because the vaginal wall tissues are lax. They're a wee bit lax, just to give them support for 6 to 12 weeks even, and then we wean off it. Some women do use this long term, but more than often I use it as a short-term intervention. So they come in all different forms. That's one of them. Okay, so I'm going to stop the recording for a wee second just before I start the exercise, because once I leave you in the meditation, I'm not going to come back. So I'll stop recording for a wee second so I don't get you all. No, actually, I'm not going to stop recording. I'm just going to crop it out once I do it later on, because if I cut it out, it'll make 2 separate videos. Okay, so I'm just going to bring up the wee exercise component because I've saved it on my phone. So we're going to come into standing. Sorry, I'm just bringing this up to remind myself. And we're going to just come side on. We're going to bring the feet just hip distance apart. We're going to just begin with taking a nice breath in. And as we breathe out, we're going to slide the hands down the legs towards the feet. And then come back up halfway. Press the hips out behind. And then release back down to the floor. Lovely. Come right back up. Circle the arms overhead. Bring the hands to the hips. And then lean back. Release. And then lean back. And release. All right, it's getting really cold in here. So just try that again, ladies. So sliding the hands down the legs towards the feet. Slide halfway up the body. Press the hips out behind. And then come on up, take the hands up the front of your body, up to ceiling and circle. Hands to hips. And then press the tummy forward as you move the spine back. Lovely. Once more, melt the hands to feet. Release back up to knees. Press the hips out behind. Look up ahead. Lovely. Release the floor. And then peel back up tall, hands to the ceiling. And then hands onto the hips and gently press back. Lovely. Bringing the feet together now. And bring the arms overhead. We're going to invite the hips to move to the right as you press the arms to the left. Release the center and then switch sides. Lovely. Inhale to center. Exhale, switch sides. Inhale to center. Exhale, switch sides. Lovely. Do that once more each side. So come in, inhale to center. Lovely. Lovely. And last time. Really nice. Lovely. I'm going to get you to come and lie on your back now. I know there's a couple of pregnant ladies doing this, so you're probably fine to lie on your back. These are mostly for stretches. So if you have a wee cushion, you're going to bring it behind your head. And come onto your back. Okay. So we're going to start with just resting the right foot on the front of the left knee. And then we're going to hug the back of the left thigh. And just feel that nice gentle stretch in your right buttock. And focusing on the pelvis now, we're going to inhale. And invite those muscles just to let go. And then just exhale, release. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Lovely. Dropping the right foot to floor now. Hug the front of your left knee. And then gently draw up and out into the left shoulder. Once more, you're feeling those muscles in the pelvis just start to stretch now. And you're gently breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Lovely. We're going to take both knees into the chest now. Knees nice and wide, feet towards each other but not touching. And now the pelvic floor muscles are really relaxed. And you're just focusing on breathing in and out through the nose. Invite those muscles to soften and lengthen. Nice slow deep breaths in through the nose and out through the nose. We're going to press the heels to ceiling now. Testing your flexibility now. We're going to hold on to our toes. This is called baby pose. This is a fantastic stretch for the pelvic floor muscles. Now, if you're pregnant, this might be a wee bit much, so you can stay with the last one. So you're pressing the heels to ceiling, lengthening through the legs. Invite the breath to travel deep into the pelvis. Invite the muscles to soften and relax. Lovely. Allow the left foot to drop to the floor. Hug the front of the right knee. Hug that knee up and into your shoulder. So you're focusing on nice deep breaths in and out through the nose. Take the right foot now and place it in front of the left knee. And then hug the back of the left thigh up into your chest. Feel that deep stretch in the right buttock. Focusing on inviting the muscles in the pelvis to let go. Invite them to gently soften and melt as you inhale. Exhale tension. Lovely. One more breath in. And let go. Lovely. We're going to come up onto our knees now. If you have any pain in your joints, you can pop a wee cushion under your knee. Otherwise, we're going to come on to kneeling on the right foot, or right knee, sorry, and the left foot is off in front. So we're going to take the arms to ceiling, and from there we're going to lean back. Let's stretch down the thigh, the right thigh. Lovely. And then we're going to release back, take the arms to open position like this. And we're going to turn to the right. So you're feeling a stretch in the groin on your left as you turn your body to the right. Lift your chest up to the ceiling, feel that stretch in your mid-back too. Keep focusing on the deep breaths in and out through the nose. Lovely. Return to center. And then take the weight onto the front foot and lift those arms to the ceiling, gently lean back. So this is really a nice stretch for the pelvic floor muscles. Release and open those winged arms to the right. Feel that stretch in the left groin tissue. So your groin muscles are connected into the pelvic floor muscles. So when we stretch the groin, we're stretching the pelvic muscles. Lovely. Release, come to center. Switch inside. So bring the right foot forwards now. Float both arms up. And gently take the weight onto the right foot as we extend the arms back. Lovely. Release and open to your left now. Feel the stretch in the right groin this time. Lovely. Inhale to center. Take the body weight forwards and lift and reach the arms out of the pelvis. Inhale. Open the arms, turn to the left. Lovely. Taking both knees down now to the floor. And we're going to come on to all fours. I'm going to take the hands just directly underneath the shoulders, knees directly underneath hips. And we're going to just gently invite the hips to tuck in as we press mid-back to ceiling. And then release the hips as we soften the tummy to the floor. This is our cat-cow movement, which lubricates the spine. It also gets the pelvis tilting forwards and back. So we're going to exhale as we round the spine to ceiling. And then inhale as we release the tummy to the floor. Lovely. Last time. Round. And let go. Really nice. We're going to come from there into cross-legged sitting on the floor. If you need a wee cushion under the hips, you can pop that in. We're going to take both arms up to ceiling. So we've focused a wee bit on opening the heart there in the 2-point kneeling position. So we're going to move into that a wee bit more. So we're going to inhale, lift up. And then we're going to exhale and hug. Slouch your body. Inhale, reach and open, create a V. Lift the chest up. Exhale, hug. Inhale, open. Exhale, hug. Inhale, open. And exhale, hug. Inhale, open the chest, open the heart. Take the right arm behind. Release. Exhale, take the left arm behind. Release. Lovely. Inhale, slouch and hug. Lovely. Inhale, Inhale. Lovely. Open to the right. Release. Left. Release. And slouch and hug. Really nice. Just resting the hands on your knees now. For the wee meditation part, we're going to finish with. We're not too bad with time. We're going to pop your wee cushion. Instead of having it behind your head, I want you to pop it in your mid back. And the reason for this is that we want to create space at the front of your chest for your in the heart. You can also have a wee cushion in your mid back or you're behind your head too, if that doesn't feel comfy. But really, you want this to kind of be in between the shoulder blades or at your bra strap, and you're leaning back. So you might need a wee cushion behind the head as well, or a wee rolled up towel probably. For pregnant ladies, I probably wouldn't keep you here for the meditation, so maybe move on to your left side. I'm not going to stay in that position. I'm going to come up and do the wee chat now. You might want to just pop a wee, if you have a wee blanket or anything, or turn off the lights, just whatever you need to do. You're going to lengthen out the legs. Don't make that wee cushion at the mid back too high, because it won't be comfy for maintaining. So if it's a wee bit too high, you might have to lower it or play about with it a wee bit. I'll give you another minute just to get ready. So just taking a nice breath in through the nose for 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale through the nose for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. I'm going to start with a couple of wee poems. Focusing now on breathing in and out of your heart as you breathe. So instead of thinking of the nose, think and imagine the breath is entering and leaving your heart space. So we'll start with a little poem. I spend so much time at war with myself, I have forgotten I'm the walls of my home. Forgive her and she will forgive you too. No matter how many times you asked her to break. Okay, I'm going to move into just another wee poem before we move into the relaxation. I am the pain in your head, the knot in your stomach. I am the unspoken grief in your smile. I am your high blood pressure, your elevated fear, your fear and lack of trust. I am your hot flashes, your cold hands and feet, your agitation and your fatigue. I am your shortness of breath, your fragile low back. I am the cramp in the neck, the despair in your sigh. I am the pain down your arm, your bloated abdomen, your constant hunger. I am where the hurt and fear persists. You tend to disown me and suppress me. You usually want me to go away immediately, to just disappear back into obscurity. More times than not, I am only the most recent notes of a long symphony, the most evident branches of roots that have been challenged for seasons. I am a messenger with good news, as disturbing as I can be at times. I want to guide you back to those tender places in yourself, the place where you can hold yourself with compassion and honesty. I may ask you to alter your diet, sleep more, exercise regularly, and breathe more consciously. I might encourage you to seek a vaster reality and worry less about the day-to-day fluctuations of life. Wherever I lead you, my hope is that you will realize that success will not be measured by my eradication, but by the shift in the internal landscape from where I emerge. I am your friend, not your enemy. I belong. I have no desire to bring you pain and suffering. I am simply tugging at your sleeve, too long immune to gentle nudges. I desire for you to allow me to speak to you in a way that enlivens your higher instincts for self-care. My charge is to energize you, to listen to me with the sensitive ear and heart of a mother attending to her precious baby. You are being so vast, so complex, with amazing capacities for self-regulation and healing. Let me be the one that leads you to the mysterious core of your being, where insight and wisdom are naturally available when called upon with a sincere heart. Invite your body to relax fully now, becoming aware of the floor beneath you. Allow your body to sink into the floor and breathe. Become aware of your breathing in and out. Be aware of your abdomen rising and falling as you breathe in and out. Rising, falling, rising, falling. Breathing in, bring your awareness to your eyes. And breathing out, allow your eyes to relax. Allow your eyes to sink back into your head, letting go of the tension in all the tiny muscles around your eyes. Our eyes allow us to see a paradise of shapes and colors. Allow your eyes to rest, sending love and gratitude to your eyes, and breathe. Breathing in, bring your awareness to your mouth. And breathing out, allow your mouth to relax. Release the tension around your mouth. Your lips are like the petals of a flower. Let a gentle smile bloom on your lips. Smiling releases the tension of dozens of muscles in your face. Feel the tension release in your cheeks, your jaw, your throat, and breathe. Breathing in, bring your awareness to your shoulders. And breathing out, allow your shoulders to relax. Let them sink into the floor. Let all the accumulated tension flow out onto the floor. You carry so much with your shoulders. Now let them relax as you care for your shoulders and breathe. Breathing in, become aware of your arms. Breathing out, relax your arms. Let your arms sink into the floor. Your upper arms, your elbows, your lower arms, your wrists, your hands, your fingers, all the tiny muscles. Move your fingers a little if you need to help the muscles relax, and breathe. Continue to focus on the breath moving in and out of the heart as you bring your awareness now to your heart. Breathing out, allow your heart to relax. We have neglected our hearts for a long time in the way that we work, eat, and manage stress and anxiety. Our heart beats for us day and night. Embrace your heart with tenderness and mindfulness, reconciling and taking care of your heart, and breathe. Breathing in, bring your awareness to your legs. Breathing out, allow your legs to relax. Release all the tension in your legs, your thighs, your knees, your calves, your ankles, your feet, your toes, all the tiny muscles. You may want to move your toes a little to help them relax. Send your love and care to your toes and breathe. Breathing in, breathing out. Your whole body feels light, like a water lily floating on the water. You've nowhere to be and you've nothing to do. You are as free as a cloud floating in the sky. Bring your awareness now back to your breath, to your abdomen rising and falling, rising and falling. There is no time left to rush. Notice how relaxed you're feeling now in mind and body. And take this deep sense of peace and relaxation with you as you return to your evening.